Live, Hagen, Dean, we got the ALCS going. Super excited to watch some championship baseball with you guys. Dean, thank you for sharing. Um, let's jump right into it. So right now, Mariners are batting game one of the ALCS. Dean, where do you want to start us off? Do we want to do predictions on this series first, or do we want to talk about previous playoff series? How do we want to do
I
this?
guess we'll start real quick with this series just because it's going on and we're watching it. There's a lot of roster moves, at least for the Blue Jays, that happened today. So maybe if you want to start with that.
Okay. Hagen, what's your thoughts on the Blue Jays so far?
I think the Blue Jays, I would probably say who I would think would win this series. It's who my prediction would come down to. I think Toronto just looks really good right now, which is big because normally I'm not going to back a team that has very shaky bullpen issues. Normally, if I'm going to back a team and I think they can win it all, I normally would like them to have a very solid bullpen out there. But they do have great starting pitching going for them right now, and just hitting that just they don't really strike out. They're getting timely hits. They're just putting the ball in play, making stuff happen. They can hit homers as well too. They're just kind of like a wagon right now. I don't know how you can stop them. Obviously, Seattle has the pitching to do so. But I think this is going to be a great series. It will be very interesting to see what they do with Max Scherzer. I know he's on the roster. Him and Bassett made on the roster that weren't on the last series.
Yep.
Be curious, are you going to use Max Scherzer a couple innings out of the bullpen? Like, how does that look? It'd be kind of cool. You already had Kershaw coming out of the bullpen, which obviously didn't go great for him, but it's kind of a cool spot if you have Max Scherzer, a 40-year-old, 38, 40 or whatever he is, coming out of the bullpen now for you.
Three of the
Sorry.
I was going to say three of the top five guys right now in terms of batting average in the postseason are Toronto Blue Jays. Ernie Clement's batting 643 this postseason. Vlad's batting 529 and Varsho's batting 438. Like, if you guys watch any of the Yankees Toronto series, I don't know why the Aaron Boone and the Yankees staff decided to pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That just seemed bonkers to me. He was, I don't want to say Barry Bonds-esque because no one's Barry Bonds-esque, but you guys get the picture. He was not a guy.
That's such a lazy comparison. That's like comparing that's like comparing someone to Hitler when you like don't like them. Come on.
All right, you know what I mean. Like, Vlad, they've been hot. Hagen, you nailed it. They've been very, very hot. The pitching's been solid. And Mariners, I think, after that 15 inning game with Detroit, I think Toronto's got to pounce on Seattle and try and take advantage of how many relievers and even starters. We saw guys like Luis Castillo come out of the pen for Seattle in that elimination game. And I think you got to pounce on them games 1 and 2 and really try and take advantage of the bullpen getting used a lot in that game.
And you get the Mariners get Brian Wu back, I believe, correct?
Correct. He gets roster.
Both teams are getting some pitching reinforcements. I mean, for me, I go back and forth. If we want to talk kind of like who we want to win, like I'm not going to necessarily predict. It's like kind of now I'm at the point where I don't have necessarily a rooting interest, so I can kind of just root for like the player that I like the most. The player I like the most that's not on the Red Sox is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Just went to the someone just struck out. No, Jorge Polanco. Nope. Who struck out? Probably. No, Josh Nair lines out. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is probably my favorite player that's not on the Red Sox. I've had him in fantasy. Brett, you know this. I traded for him. We're in a 5-keeper league. I traded for him back when he was still in the minor leagues. He's always been on my team. Yeah, I love him. I really wanted him to go to the Red Sox. I was pushing that hard last year during free agency. As everyone knows, my Tristan Casas, Vladimir Guerrero tweet got a little traction because I reposted it of all the people who were wrong and attacked me. But that being said, I do like the Mariners. The Mariners have never won. The Brewers have never won. The Blue Jays have won, obviously, twice in the 90s. So I don't know. I'm a little split right now. I don't like Brett loves Julio Rodriguez. I like Julio Rodriguez, but I don't love Julio Rodriguez. I think Vladimir Guerrero Jr. can and will. I think he can be a Hall of Famer. I think it's gonna be very difficult for him to get an MVP, frankly, just because he's a first baseman, and you have Aaron Judge, and then 3 years from now, when Aaron Judge is out of his prime, you're gonna have Bobby Witt Jr. in his prime. I think he'll win a couple MVPs. So I think Vlad needs a World Series, maybe like a World Series MVP or something like that to really push him over the edge and get into the Hall. So right now, I'm rooting for Toronto.
That's fair. And I don't know about you guys. Like I'm a spiteful person. So like, when like your team loses and you're like, oh, at least my team loses to the eventual champion. I don't believe in that. I don't subscribe to that policy the way other sports fans do. I would love to see Seattle versus the Brew Crew in a World Series here. I think that'd be super exciting. I think it's the two best pitching staffs on either side. Maybe obviously the Dodgers are up there too, but I think both of them are super intriguing. And I wouldn't mind seeing Jacob Mizraowski, Peralta, all those guys in Milwaukee go head to head with Seattle staff. I think it'd be super interesting. And Hagen, you brought it up a few weeks ago. Baseball, how many years has it been since we've had a repeat champion in the MLB?
99 to 2000 New York Yankees the last time to do that.
And that is the longest standing of a repeat champion to not happen out of the major U.S. Big Four sports: hockey, MLB, NBA, and NFL. I love that stat because it's a continue kind of like FU to everyone who argues the salary cap and that it doesn't work. It's like, no, it does work. You just need owners that are willing to pay their players. And I hope that happens.
I mean, yeah, even
You
to
hope-
like
You hope what happens?
I don't want to see Dodgers repeat for that one sole reason. I love that it's continuing to be baseball with with having no salary cap, just a luxury tax, that there hasn't been a repeat champion, meaning the randomness of baseball, the anyone could take it if you get hot factor. I love that. And I love that it continues to back the reason of like playing 162 games. Like we saw this year, how many people it came down to the last game or two where you really show who the good teams are and who aren't at the end of the year. So I love seeing that for baseball, and it's something I hope that continues. And I think being the fact that Yankees are eliminated, so it's really only up to the Dodgers. We might not even have a repeat World Series contenders if the Dodgers get eliminated here in the championship series.
Yeah, I mean, we have had that going for such a long time there, especially when, I mean, the Dodgers, I mean, we all know it, just being on like Twitter a lot in the offseason, there were people that were trying to boycott baseball, saying they weren't going to watch because the Dodgers were this super team and they were going to be the best team. They already were right in as the World Series champions. Well, granted, yes, they are the favorite now, and I betting favorite right now. They're the best team left, I would say. But it's a very different Dodgers team. This bullpen, there was plenty of games that they've had where, especially against like the Reds, like there was 2 games, I think it was an 8-run lead and a 6-run lead, that it became a close game because the bullpen started blowing it a bit and they were swinging away from the Reds were from tying it. So the bullpen can be the downfall for them there. I do think I would say that the Dodgers are going to win, and that's what I think. I think the Brewers are going to put up a very good fight. I think a lot of people think the Dodgers are going to steamroll them. I think the Brewers are going to put up a great fight against them, especially those later innings. But then in the American League too, I think it's just so tough here. But Seattle, I'm definitely pulling for Seattle out of these Final Four teams to win it all.
Well, Seattle's losing now. George Springer just hit a home run the first pitch against Bryce Miller.
Brown's pretty electric right now.
Do you guys think George Springer is a shoo-in for comeback player of the year?
He's got to be
probably.
DeGrom's got to be up there too.
I'm trying to think of someone who is I'm trying to think of someone who is like injured that
DeGrom
would. Yeah, DeGrom, I guess, would be the best option.
And I should know this. Do they do AL, NL on comeback, or is it just one guy?
I believe just one.
I'll double check that. But yeah,
no, it's AL, NL. I can't think of anyone right now off the top of my head. I mean, no one really bets that, right?
That's what I'm looking up right now. See if there's any odds on that.
There almost definitely is, actually. I would have to imagine if they didn't vote on it already, then George Springer.
Yeah. From what I'm seeing here, the odds were, I mean, this is back from July was the earliest I could find. Then DeGrom was pretty much a runaway with it. And I had Acuna for the NL, but without him now.
No, yeah.
Robbie Ray's up there. He's one of the top ones.
I can see that for the National League. I think for the American League, if DeGrom still had a great year, don't get me wrong. George Springer was like top 10 and like a lot OPS plus in a lot of different offensive categories. And he's been great this postseason. So I don't know if they vote for comeback player of the year. I'm assuming they do before the playoffs. But even even still, I think he'll probably win it. National League, I'd have to think Robbie Ray would be a decent one. Blake
George
Snell?
Springer.
No,
Blake Snell
yeah.
one.
not really. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he played enough in order like to outbeat DeGrom or Springer. But they're both AL. I'm trying to think.
I mean,
will
because
say
it would have
this,
been
Springer-
could it be Acuna? Like you could. I know he only played what, like 90 games this year, but he was pretty damn good when he was playing in those games.
He could be up there.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Brandon Woodruff. How many games did he pitch? I don't think he pitched enough.
And I feel
Yeah,
like too,
but-
for comeback player of the year, you're probably going to give it to someone who's playing the whole season, then instead of someone that whatever comes back mid-season and then they have a great whatever second half. I feel like you're going to choose to give it to the guy even if he wasn't as good, just the guy who was healthy the whole year.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of someone who isn't. Yeah, I'm trying to think of someone who was hurt and like came back, and George Springer for the American League and Ronald Acuna for the National League. All right. So I guess we kind of gave our picks already. So Hagen, you think Dodgers win it all then?
Yeah, I bet that to happen at the beginning of the postseason. So I would think the Dodgers are going to go through it. I would think they would beat the Brewers and probably say, I want to say 5, but I'll give the Brewers 6 there. And then American League, I can go either way. I'm going to go Seattle in 7.
Okay, then so Seattle Dodgers. Brett, do you have any different?
I'm gonna go. Everything in my head is telling me to pick Toronto, but I just can't with how much love I've shown for Seattle not take Seattle in this. So I'm taking Seattle. I'll take Seattle in 6. And then I don't know what it is. I think this is the Brewers' year. I like the Dodgers are the Dodgers, but I really like the Brew Crew's odds this year with their team. So I'll take Brewers and Seattle to advance, and I'll take Seattle to win it all. I think it's the year of Big Dumper.
All right. Yeah, I'm probably I'm probably leaning towards Toronto making it to the World Series, and unfortunately the Dodgers winning. So I think I'm with Hagen with that. I don't have a Kershaw jersey behind me like Hagen does, but a lot of pitches here. 10 pitches this Bryce Miller, John Lukes.
What I did notice, by the way, when we were talking about comeback player of the year, Springer is having his best year since when he last finished MVP 7th in voting back in 2019. He's now 35. He was not an all-star this year. He had 4.8 WAR on the year. He batted 309. In the 2019, he batted 292. So he's almost 20 points better batting wise right now as a 35-year-old than he was at 29 with Houston. Kind of crazy. And he was not named an all-star with almost 5 WAR generated for the year.
Yeah, that makes me we got to do an off-season episode about the All-Star voting and a new way to fix that, because that still pisses me off, just the All-Star voting every single year, because then like a guy like that doesn't get an All-Star game. And then you tell people when they're whatever your accolades for their career always this many times All-Star. If fans are voting on who's going to be in the All-Star game, it should not be an accolade thing you talk about players at the end of their career.
Yeah,
All-Star.
I agree with that. I think for baseball though, they don't. I feel at least people don't lean towards the All-Star games when like looking at like a Hall of Fame resume. But now that I say that, I feel like people do. Yeah, they need to do something about that. I mean, Mizorowski shouldn't have been in the All-Star game this year. Like that.
Neither Kershaw, for what it's worth.
No, and like I get like that's a commissioner gets to choose whatever a one like dying player. But like Mizorowski, it's who got, was it Christopher Sanchez who didn't make it? Who's probably going to be the runner up in the Cy Young, arguably could be the Cy Young, and he didn't get in. Mizorowski, who had pitched like something like 6 games, maybe.
It was around like 30.
It was something ridiculously low, and that needs to be fixed. But there's a lot of implications right now with these playoffs and like we're talking about next year in free agency. I mean, you look at Vladimir is up, by the way, with man on one, no outs. You look at someone like Kyle Tucker, terrible postseason. How does that affect his free agency? You look at someone like Alex Bregman, not a great postseason. Cody Bellinger, not a great postseason. Pete Alonso didn't make the postseason. Bo Bichette hurt, not playing in the postseason. The top free agents for the most part. I mean, Brett, pull up the top free agents for next year, or Hagen. Are any
I
of
got
them
it.
performing great right now in the playoffs? Like, get themselves some extra dough. If anything, they're performing very poorly. I mean, Kyle Tucker was terrible. Or am I imagining that?
How did JT
Oh, he's been
Realmuto do?
horrible. How did
JT
who?
Realmuto was fine. Realmuto is 35 years old. If he gets a 3-year deal, he's lucky. And it's going to be primarily because he's a great catcher. His offensive numbers have dipped. I think he signed his extension or signed with the Phillies, had one after that year, had a very good year where he had like 6 WAR, and then he's regressed pretty consistently for the past like 5 years or 4 years.
So I'm going to name just a few names, and you guys can pick who we want to start off with. Josh Naylor, he's on Seattle, having a great year, 29 years old.
Crazy amount of stolen bases for the second slowest player in baseball, but go on.
I'm just looking through all the positions of who's still available, like who's still in the playoffs or was in the playoffs for free agency.
Just give me and Hagen the top 10 free agents.
Eugenio Suarez, Lord.
He's slow down. Let us respond to each one. Suarez, he has hit 1 home run in the postseason, I believe. Other than that, has not played great and played terrible the second half. Go.
I saw Trent Grisham.
He didn't do anything in the playoffs, really.
He didn't do anything in the playoffs,
No,
and
no.
he hit 35 home runs. I want to know how many of them were hit at Yankee Stadium next.
Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, I mean that's one. He was crying in his post game interview.
Framber.
He's gone.
Bo Bichette. We're not going to talk about
So
him. Michael King for the Padres.
He'll get a deal.
Bellinger, we already talked about. Dylan Cease.
He shouldn't get a deal, but he'll get a deal.
Ranger Suarez for Philly.
Hagen jump in whenever.
Ranger's going to get paid. I mean, Ranger showed it again. Like, obviously, he's one of those guys. Like, obviously, Ranger's a good pitcher in the first half. He was up there for the Cy Young before you got hurt. But like, he showed again that Ranger's one of the best postseason pitchers we have out there right now. Like, that no one really talks about.
I'd rather have Ranger Suarez over Dylan Cease.
I mean, if it's a postseason game, I'd probably take him. But I think if I was taking a full season, it'd be Cease. But Cease.
I mean,
is
who had a better year this year?
Huh?
Who's had a better last couple of years, Caesar or Suarez?
Probably. Let me pull up here. I'd probably say Ranger. Cease just strikes everybody out.
Dylan Cease, 4.55 ERA, 1.32 WHIP this year. Yeah, he strikes a lot of guys out, but
so 2 more guys. I'm just going off now AAVs of their current contract. Trevor Story and Giolito, both playoff guys, both from the Red Sox.
So those are both interesting cases because I don't know if Story opts out. And if he does opt out, I don't think the Red Sox can then pay an extra however many millions to keep him. I think they don't. I think they try to get out of that contract. And Lucas Giolito, it's a mutual option. So I think his elbow issue, whatever it is a problem. And I don't think that I don't think they're going to take that.
In mutual options, to almost never get accepted in baseball.
So just real quick, Ranger Suarez for this year, 4.7 WAR, 12-8, 3.20 ERA, 1.37 ERA plus. Okay, Dylan Cease, 4.55 ERA, 94 ERA plus. You want Hagen?
I just going forward. I know that Ranger, like obviously Ranger's been the better pitcher, and I know Cease. You had really, if you look at it, the one really good year, two at most. Then he's just been pretty a 4 ERA pitcher. Besides that, who strikes out 200 guys a year. But I always have this belief in Dylan Cease that he's just going to figure it out again. And I think just because of the stuff probably is the reason why I'm saying that. But I can't deny that. Like if it was playoffs and big game pitcher, I'm going to take Ranger 100%.
I'm just looking at this.
Cease, which I think it's going to be hard not to do it because if you just look at the big numbers, career 3.88 ERA, and I'm a Dylan Cease guy. I am. He's coming off a 4.55 ERA year. So he had a worse year than what his career, points to. He's never been an all-star. He's finished top 5 in Cy Young 2 times in his career and 2 times since 2022. I think that Dylan Cease, it's going to be hard not to pay him as a frontline, number one starter. But if I'm a team with some money like Detroit, who is probably going to lose Jack Flaherty to free agency, I'm going to look because Cease is an innings eater, and there's no denying that. If you guys just look at the innings, he's pitched since 2021, 165, 184, 177, 189, 168 this year. The guy gets.
That's not like where you're acting like that. He's pitching 200 innings a year.
But 160 plus every year is very sustainable. I think that's like a poor man's Logan Webb right there. And I would.
Men on first and second, by the way.
I think the thing with Cease too is there's always, you see it every year. I feel like obviously he's had down years, but he'll hit that stretch that when everything is feeling right for him, he looks like the best pitcher on the planet. Like he'll go through those stretches, and then granted he'll give up 7 runs the next outing, but he'll have a few stretches throughout this part of the season where he looks like one of the best pitchers in the world.
Don't get me wrong, Cease is going to get paid more. I'm just asking you, like, who would you rather the Mets go and throw a bunch of money at? Because for the Red Sox, I tweeted this out before. The Red Sox have saved money on Rafael Devers. That's the whole narrative that we've been given. End of the first, by the way, Dalton Varsho lines out, leaves 2 on the base. You have the Giolito contract. You have the Story contract. There's one other contract that the Red Sox have that is a option, I believe. But what's up?
Is it Liam Hendricks?
Well, Liam Hendricks, yes, but his contract wasn't anything crazy. No, not Chapman, Brett. They extended Chapman. There's one other. I have to look. It's in one of my blogs. You have all this money, so I think the Red Sox need another. I think they need another more than a batter. I think they need a guy behind Crochet that's a little more reliable than Bayo, and I would prefer them to go after Ranger Suarez than Dylan Cease. I would prefer them to try and make a crazy deal and go get Screwball and extend him and say F it and just try to win next year.
When you said that picture, we saw that picture earlier of the Scooble in a Red Sox uniform. I was sitting there for a second. I was like, Scooble and Crochet. If in a playoff series, you could go 1-2 like that.
That's what I'm saying. It would be the 2 best. It's the 2 best Patriots. Well, and maybe we'll talk about this, and then we'll wrap up as we go and watch the games ourselves. What do the Tigers do? Because this kind of a playoff conversation here. They need to do something. They need to rework something. The offense was terrible. I think they're 3, 4, 5 hitters were 0 for something in the last couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
They still have. I mean, look, Riley Green for some reason is hated by Tigers fans, and then loved, and then hated, and then loved because he strikes out a lot. To Brett's point, you're losing Flaherty. Do you trade Screwball this offseason and try to get a big haul, or do you wait and try to sign him?
I think you got to trade him.
Really? You think they got to trade him?
The way I look at it is, look what you can get. I know he only has 1 year left on his deal, but no matter what, everything that I know, Tarek Skubal would love to be a Tiger for life. But Tarek Skubal is going to get $340 million. The Detroit Tigers are not going to pay a pitcher that much money. There's probably only 5 or so teams that are even willing to give a pitcher $350 million with whatever Skubal is going to ask for. The Tigers aren't going to be one of them. So I just look at it and go trade him now and get the most value, because looking forward to, there's a lot of free agencies. At the end of next year too, Jake Rogers is going to be a free agent. Casey Mize is going to be a free agent who had a good year. And then this year too, they're pending free agents. They're going to have Alex Cobb, Gleyber Torres, Tommy Kahnle, Kyle Finnegan. They need a lot of pieces on this team for next year to go out there for a team that doesn't spend a lot of money. I mean, their payroll this year was $155 million. You're telling me they're going to pay a pitcher $40 million a year?
I just think the Detroit Tigers, I agree with you. They are not a prototypical spender, and there's only a select few teams that are going to pay someone. Tarek Skubal, I think, is obviously, he's clearly special. I think he's different. I think Detroit, based on what he's done, plus the situation Detroit's in, most of their good players, what are they? They're all young. They don't have a lot of big contracts on that team, and they got
But
this little
but
prospect
but
coming up named Kevin
but they're
McGonigal.
but they have two great prospects coming up. But I think that's kind of Higgins' point in a way. Like, yeah, those guys are young. Is Riley? Did they extend Riley Green or no? Is he still on his?
I got that. He is.
Yeah,
You have
Riley
all,
Green.
He received a
He's still
6-year
an
deal
arm.
after being drafted in 2019. He got 6.18
that's-
million.
okay.
He's
He's
under
That's
entering
not
control
ARB
for
one.
2028.
Brett. Stop yelling.
Sorry.
I
Yeah,
think
he's entering ARB one next year. Same with Kerry
yeah,
Carpenter. Same with Spencer
and
Torkelson.
that's the issue is you have these guys who they're in arbitration. You'll be able to continue signing them for a relatively, I guess, affordable deal. You signed Tariq Skubal to a $350 million deal. How long is that deal? 8 years? 9 years? 10 years? Probably 10 years. We'll say 10
Probably
years.
10.
Okay, so 10 years, you're locking up 35 million. Are you going to be able to sign those three guys?
Especially when you're
Plus,
still paying Javier Baez $24 million
plus,
a year for years.
plus Casey Mize?
Like you're saying goodbye to, you're keeping one of those guys, and it's probably going to be Carpenter because he could be the cheapest because he's a one-dimensional player, really.
Yeah. So I think I'm with Hagan too. I think they should trade him, and I think I'm just not a big believer in giving huge contracts. Now here's the problem: I want the Red Sox to go get him, but I also think the Red Sox could win with Crochet and Skubal. The Tigers don't have Crochet, and they don't have the ability to go and get a Crochet like player to pair with Skubal. And I think that at the end of the day is the problem. They're not going to get a second ace right now. Who's out there? Framber. You're gonna throw a bunch of money at Framber, then you're gonna box yourself in and not be able to get Skubal the following year. So trade Skubal, rework the team, bring up those young guys, go maybe go get a Framber and a Ranger and like combine that. I don't know. I think they have a lot of options and they'll get a lot of capital for Skubal.
Yeah, weirdly enough, in my friend group here in Indy, I guess Michigan is a bordering state of Indiana. We have a lot of Detroit fans, and I think that it's all sunk in for them that Scooball's time with Detroit is coming to an imminent end in Detroit. I don't know. I feel like as a fan, I would love my team to keep. This. We're both purists. We love guys staying with the same team for their careers if possible. It obviously doesn't happen all the time due to money. I just think Detroit has the pieces where they could build around Skubal. They by signing him to a huge deal, they can go get Cease, they can go get King, they can go get Framber, they can go get Ranger Suarez.
But then they're locked into Skubal for a decade, and their entire team is up for contracts essentially. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, you got a couple of years because, I mean, Mize would, because if you sign Skubal back, Mize is gone most likely. And then 2 years after that, you have to deal with Riley Green, Tyler Holton, Kerry Carpenter, Spencer Torkelson, and Alex Lange.
Dude, Detroit fans hate Torkelson and they hate Riley Green. It's kind of funny.
It's a tough situation for the Tigers because obviously you don't want to trade a guy like Skubal, but you don't want to trade him. But do you really think the Tigers can win a World Series with just Tarik Skubal on this team? I don't believe the Tigers can do anything. So you might as well just trade him and start when your new young guys are coming up. Get a haul for Skubal. It sucks, but they traded Verlander away. I get Verlander was older by then, but he still won a couple Cy Youngs after he left Detroit. He was still one of the best pitchers on the planet.
Now, what team trades for Skubal? And it sucks because how many teams have the prospects to trade for Tarik Skubal right now? 5, maybe 6 teams.
And if you're trading for Skubal, you're probably going to be a team that's going to offer him an extension too. So that lowers the list even more.
Yeah, you'd have to offer an extension. I mean, again, you have McGonigal and Clark coming up next year, probably. Now Clark might be 2 years away.
And what about that Jose Briseño kid? He's supposedly pretty good as well. I've seen him mentioned a lot by people.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's coming next year.
They have a great farm system, and I think that just leads to again maybe, but they're unproven. I don't know. I think look at all the big pitching contracts and look how they pan out. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think the Tigers can take that risk because they're not one of those top spending teams. All right, go in the bottom second. Let's say for the bottom of the second, and we'll watch that because I want to see Ernie Clement get to bat and Anthony Santander, and then we'll
So back
I
to the there's back to the Detroit Boston Red Sox contracts. I think the guy we missed was Yoshida, $18.5 million for the next couple of years for the Red Sox was the big one. Was that the one we were
no,
missing?
no. It's
Who
not,
else was
I'll
it
find
then?
it. I'll find it. No, it's someone else who has an opt out. Hey, again, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say on the Scooble thing, like looking ahead, because like I've had buddies ask me, "Is Scooble, where is he gonna go? Like, is he gonna be a Dodger?" Like, didn't make that joke. But because if you kind of look at it, like some of the teams that have the money and are going to be willing to give Tarek Skubal a contract, the Dodgers are obviously going to be one of those teams there. The Giants, I think they've shown the ability that they want to go spend the money. The Blue Jays the same way. I think they're two teams that could be in the market for a Tarek Skubal. I don't think the Yankees will be in on him at all. Like I know that seems like the perfect like Yankees go after him, but like you already have Cole on a $300 million contract. You already have Rodon on almost a $200 million contract. You have Fried on a $200 million contract. You can't have four pitchers making almost $1 billion. I feel like.
No.
Not only that, I dream of Scuba on the Yankees. The Yankees are not paying exactly. They're not paying four guys, and they're not paying three of the four being lefties. Rodon and Fried are lefties. Crochet and Scuba on the same team, going back to back 1-2 lefty lefty.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
They're like
That's
Fried Rodon on steroids. That combo.
and the Red Sox have the money to do it. They don't necessarily have the capital per se to trade for him. I think that's.
You don't think they have the prospect capital?
No, I don't think they have the prospect capital.
I think a team that has the prospect capital and has the money to do it is also the New York Mets.
Yeah, that's
I love that's all three of our
unfortunately.
teams.
Unfortunately, for me, that is probably true. But would you want that, Hagen?
I would rather just wait and sign Skubal in the offseason. I think it's just not worth giving up huge prospects that are going to be great major league players for 1 year of Tarek Skubal extra.
Yeah, again, I mean, there is that aspect of it too. Like how much it is a 1 year rental. How much would a team actually get?
I think you wait, and I think the Mets case, I think it's better to wait because the way you think about it is you pretty much opened a 15-year window. Like I love this core. I want Francisco Lindor to win a World Series of the Mets. I want to see Pete Alonso and Nimmo win a World Series of the Mets. But when you sign Juan Soto, who's going to be one of the best players in baseball, Juan Soto, you sign him, a generational free agent. You building your window around Juan Soto's 15 years. And realistically, when he's going to be in his prime in like 3 or 4 years, you're probably building more for that. And the farm system's getting ready to do so. So you're going to get guys like a Nimmo and a Lindor who are on the downturns of their career when Soto's going up, and you're going to build around him. So I think it just worked it in the Mets case to just keep saving your prospects and then sign a Skubal instead of trading him away for him.
Eric Clement pops out to Cal Raleigh for the first out. Brady got kicked out. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I have a blog right now that I take the top 50 contracts in baseball and I take their performance from this year and see who actually met the value of their contract. So I'm going with $8 million per WAR, per like one WAR accumulated. So I'm currently working on that. I'm gonna send that to you guys.
I'm gonna post that piece that I was talking about this week. Just like one bright spot for every team that did not make the playoffs this year. Like, what's one thing to positively look at each team? Because if you don't make the playoffs, every fan's so bitter, and it's like the MLB playoffs are the most prestigious playoffs in professional sports to make. They are the hardest to make. It's statistical, numerical, however you want to look at it. Like
MLB playoffs.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Is statistically the most difficult?
Even with the expansion, look at it. The NBA and the NHL, they both take half of the conferences on each side, make the playoffs. There's 8 seeds on each side. Baseball, there's only 6. And then you look at the NFL.
Santander just got the second base.
And the NFL, I think 32 teams, 4 divisional winners times 2. That's 8. With what is there in the NFL? 2 wild cards now?
I believe 2 wild cards. I think there's 7 seeds.
So it's like baseball, except I think that the NFL, you don't have to play 162 games to get there. So like sometimes fraudulent teams get in. Like look at the Colts. everyone thinks they're good. They haven't beat a winning team yet besides the Broncos, who you know what I mean? Like they barely got in past the Broncos, and it's like everyone's like, oh, the Colts are great. That
This is
doesn't
a
happen.
baseball podcast.
I know. I'm saying that doesn't happen in baseball. Like bad teams at a certain point, their talent and their roster.
I disagree. I disagree with that. I think the extra wild card team allows for not great teams to borderline get in or sneak in.
I mean, the Reds were not a good team. Like,
No.
granted, like the Mets, I think the Mets would have had a better chance against the Dodgers, but the Mets weren't a good team either.
The Red Sox were like borderline a good team, and they still made it.
All right, fine. You guys want to argue with me on that one, but that's actually a good podcast episode. We could talk about like the playoff format and like all the other sports, like which one's the most elite to go into. I'd still say baseball though. It's also the most random. Like whoever's hot at the end usually makes a run for it.
And something too that I saw, Mike Petrillo actually put a tweet out about this year is the last few years in the postseason, ever since the new format, the whole talk has been about the bye, on how teams get screwed over by the bye. The 4 teams left, 3 of them had the bye, and the other one is the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Like, I think the bye narrative's gone after this season. Like, next year, I think it's not going to be as big. I think teams have figured out how to stay ready for the DS after the bye.
I agree with that. I think, first of all, I mean, these playoffs have been very entertaining overall. I feel like way more so than last year. And I even though the Dodgers have kind of rolled their way through, I still think they could be beat. I don't think it's out of the question. Like, I know we're saying the Dodgers are the favorite, Brett. Like, I'm assuming or Hagen said that the betting favorite. I haven't even looked at the betting odds, but I mean the Mariners with their starting staff, I think have a better chance than the Blue Jays actually because of that.
So right now, the Dodgers are plus 110, the Blue Jays are plus 240, the Mariners are plus 420, and the Brewers are strangely in last place, plus 480, but that's probably because they're going up against the Dodgers, who are the favorites. So it's all relatively.
Well, they're probably. I mean, they are the worst team.
Didn't they finish with the best record in the MLB regular season this year?
I don't put too much credence to that.
Really?
I do think, I don't know, like, I think Dean's right, though. The Dodgers can get beat. I think a lot of people have just kind of wrote the Brewers off, and they're just kind of like, all right, Dodgers, and we'll give them 5. But I think the Brewers are going to give the Dodgers a very tough series. I don't think that it's just going to be a clean Dodgers sweep. I think the Dodgers, even if they get these big leads, there's going to be times where this bullpen implodes on them a little bit, and the Brewers get right back in the game, because the way the Brewers operate as an offense and the at-bats they give, it doesn't matter if they're down by 7 runs. They're still going to give you phenomenal at-bats. They're still going to fight every single day. They're going to put the ball in play against you. And against this Dodgers, who have the ball, Teoscar Hernandez is an awful right fielder. They got some dudes who are just not good defenders out there. Who knows what can happen with a very shaky bullpen.
Yeah, I agree. I just think they don't have enough pitching, and they barely beat the Cubs, and I don't think the Cubs were a good team. I think the most entertaining matchup is going to be Blue Jays Mariners, which end of the second. So we'll kind of wrap up, and I think I like this kind of like starting an episode in the first couple innings, talking, and then going and watching the games, boys. Do we have any other thoughts?
No, I think as long I don't know what your guys' schedules are. 8:00 Tuesday, we could do the same thing, jumping into the Dodgers Brewers game 2, I believe that will be because they're playing tomorrow night as well. But we will let all of you guys tune in to the game and actually watch it. That's it for me. I announced it last week. We're planning to go to 1 episode a week and more concentrate on blogs as we enter the off season. Any news or updates? I did get this. I got a Willie Stargell autograph. I thought it was pretty cool this week. So
that's cool.
Added to the Hall of Fame collection, but that's about it for me, baseball wise.
Hagen, anything for you?
I just saw some Mets news. I know Pete Alonso came out that he's looking for a 7-year extension. I'm not excited for this Pete Alonso. And it's the same thing as last year. I'm not ready for this.
There was a lot of very funny my screwball tweet's starting to pop off. There was a lot of very funny tweets when that that news came out. How much of that is though just Boris kind of? Because who said that? That wasn't that
I
was
think
a report, right?
it was Puma put a tweet out from it, so it was definitely a Boris thing that came out.
Yeah, that's just that just scares teams away. Like, what I don't know what he should get like a 5-year deal. And maybe that's what
Yeah,
they're maybe that's the idea is like say he wants a 7, he'll settle for a 5 and teams will think they won. There's no way he should get a 7. 7-year deal brings him to what, like 39 years old? 30 years
uh,
old?
39 or 40. Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
just think it's like you're saying. Maybe that's the idea of then talk teams down to 5, and that's really the ultimate plan. But especially the way last year, that was I've never seen a worse free agency for a player than Pete Alonso had last year, and Boris is already opening it off the same exact way by saying, "I want a 7-year deal."
And Pete Alonso didn't I mean, he had a good year, but he had some deep, deep valleys, right? Over
I
the
think the
summer?
biggest thing comes down to it too. I mean, Pete Alonso, I think, doesn't get enough respect. I think he kind of hides out of team with Lindor and Soto, especially since Soto got there. But I think it just said he's a first baseman who are you going to be surprised if Pete Alonso just becomes a guy who hits 210 and hits 30 home runs a year? Like, I know there's still value to that, but he's only really good at scooping at first base, which obviously the Mets and teams have models of that, but on the normal just fielding run value, defensive run value, all that, it doesn't do it. So he's one of the worst first basemen defensively. He can't throw the ball to first base. He might be a DH if he comes back now. I don't know, but
I think
I think he's just
he
an
almost
amazing
he almost definitely will be a DH, and that's why I don't understand why Red Sox fans are. There's been a lot of Red Sox fans who are like, "Ooh, go after Pete Alonso, go after Pete Alonso," and that solves no issue for the Red Sox because then you have Tristan Casas and people are big Casas fans. We're gonna go down a deep rabbit hole. I'm looking forward to a lot of offseason talk. I think there's a lot of good conversations that we're gonna be able to talk about in the next couple of weeks. But one here and for the next kind of 2 weeks, I think our episodes will mostly be us kind of popping in for games and talking while the games are going on. So top of the third now. Blue Jays are up 1-0. We will talk to you guys probably tomorrow or Tuesday. All right. Bye.